Oh, it's time to wet our whistle. People might be celebrating or they might be crying in their wine today. Hope you all are having a great afternoon. It is 4 o'clock on a Wednesday. That means it's time for us to educate you and have a little fun with you with our friend Chuck Gillentine from Defiance Ridge Vineyards. How are you doing this afternoon?
I am home. I
Yeah,
stayed up a
most of
little
us are home.
yes.
You were up until the wee hours of the morning watching the
Yeah,
election.
I stayed up for as long as it took. So um, it was kind of nice. Just had some coffee and just enjoyed it. Kind of.
Yeah. Did you take a nap?
Nope, no
No?
naps. Nope. Braising some bison short ribs and
Ooh,
for dinner tonight. So smoked them for about an hour and a half earlier, and now they've been in the oven for a couple hours and
that sounds yummy.
should
Where'd
be.
you where'd you get your bison?
I get it from Nebraska Bison Company,
Oh, wow. I
and
love bison.
oh, I love it. The ribs are my favorite, especially the beef ribs, the bison ribs. Just the slabs. They're just amazing. But this first time for short ribs. We'll see how they go, how they
I've
taste.
never had bison short ribs. I love bison though, and so, if people are looking for something that is a little healthier, a little leaner, you should
Oh,
definitely
it's
try bison. Yes.
we made bison chili last night,
Ah,
and we've made. I've used a bison roast uh, and hamburger bison meat for the chili last night. So, uh,
it's definitely it's chili season, right?
oh, it
It's
is.
it's
This is kind of a chilly day. All the rain.
yeah.
Lake went from 5 feet down to is way over now. So, uh,
Yeah. Did
kind
you
of
guys
nice.
have any flooding out there?
No, I didn't see any here. Now, 94 was certainly flooded yesterday afternoon,
Yep.
and so the water was over. I drove from Defiance into Washington yesterday, and it was over many places.
Yeah, I was wondering if you guys had any, because I know sometimes, especially when the rain comes down as fast and hard as it has, that there could be some issues. But right now, no problems for you around the winery?
Not around the winery. No, I know. Once you get out of Defiance, going on that floodplain, it's underwater. What I hear,
Oh,
uh,
my goodness.
it was underwater a little bit yesterday, but not totally. But our lower area, that floodplain was pretty wet and pockets of rain, but it was very dry too. So
Yes. Well, everybody that's again been affected, wish you all the best. Just pay attention to the forecast because I know they're talking about like 141, 44 and Gravois near the new bridge, etc. Is going to be affected
yeah,
this weekend. So just be aware before you're heading out. If you're just tuning in now, or maybe watch this later, Chuck Gillentine again from Defiance Ridge Vineyards, and we always like to talk about different types of grapes. And although a lot of times, we're just talking about bison and getting into the colder season, you might start thinking of reds. But if someone is not a red fan and they're like, nope, I want to have a very versatile grape, you say that one of the most versatile is a Riesling.
probably the most versatile is Riesling.
Why is that?
They make it in many styles. It's a late harvest type of grape, and so they pick it late, and they pick it all the way up to freezing time, really. So you get a lot of sugars in some of them. There's many styles. There's dry, there's off dry, and there's sweet, but there's no real sugar added. They're great food wines. You got the acid. I always talk about acid, but
Mhm.
acid and food go so well together, and Rieslings are much like our Vignon grape to a degree. It's got a lot of high acid and it goes fantastic with foods. The drier Rieslings are great with chicken and pork. Which your one on the left is a dry Riesling. Your one on the right is actually a dessert wine, a dessert Riesling, and those are simply delicious. But the sweeter you get, your food goes to a spicier type of food.
I know when I was growing up and I was in college, I used to always hear about Rieslings, and I'm glad you're breaking it down, saying that there's so many different levels because I always thought that a Riesling was sweet, and
Well, you
obviously that's not the
drink the
case.
blue bottles, right?
Yes, they were the blue bottles.
The blue bottles are the cheap Rieslings, and well, it's just there's so much Riesling made in Germany, down to the Alsace region and over to Austria, but Rieslings are fantastic, and they age wonderfully. I mean, they can age for decades. In fact, I think I have a couple bottles of a 1970 something dessert wines. We had one a while back that was just amazing. You just serve it with the right food, and you just sip on it, and it's delicious.
So, if it's a Riesling that we're serving, what types of food? You mentioned depending on the level of whether it's dry or sweet, etc., that maybe we would have something spicy. But what would you serve with different Rieslings?
Uh, as I said, drier Rieslings, you stick with your proteins, the chicken, the pork,
Okay.
some fish. Uh, and then the spicier you get with your foods, then you up it with the sweetness of the wine. So you go sushi would be great with an off dry, and your Indian food, Thai food would be good with off drier wines.
Mm.
So they're just fantastic food wines.
And then tell me about this orange Riesling.
Okay, so I guess in Europe several years ago, they started aging Riesling on the leaves, on the skins, and treating it like maybe a Chardonnay, uh, and trying to get the skin flavors into the into the wine more than just the fruit flavors. Uh, I've had a few of them, and I can honestly say I'm not that big of a fan, just because I'm so used to drinking Rieslings that it has high acid and great fruit, and the fruit flavors in Rieslings are, in my opinion, are the best in white wines, because you go from lemon and lime, from drier wines up to stone fruits, apricots, peaches, and they just that's why I like Rieslings, because of the enormous flavors they have and great aromas also.
What's your favorite area, regions of where Rieslings come from?
Well, Germany is world known for the most, and probably a, a lot of the best. But the only regions, we're traveling next year through Moselle and some of the regions, and I'm looking forward to that. But on our trip a year ago to Austria, some of the Rieslings there were just amazing, and they're just they're steep, the really steep hills where you have the Gruner Veltliner growing on the bottom, the Riesling's all up on the top, and tasting these wines that are 30, 40 years old that they have in their cellars are just it's wonderful. And then you get to Alsace also, where northern France, where they make incredible Rieslings also.
Yeah, I think you mentioned earlier, and again, if you're just tuning in, Chuck Gillentine with Defiance Ridge Vineyards, we're talking about Riesling. And yes, a lot of the Riesling that I had early on was the blue bottles, which I'm sure a lot of you probably said the same thing. Maybe you didn't know about the fact that there's so many different levels of it. But outside, again, of Germany, if you want to start to expand your horizon, Australia, Austria, Washington State, New York as well. What
And they're
about for all, all
very
the people? Huh?
they're very affordable. I mean, the Washington State Rieslings, and especially Upper New York State Rieslings, they're delicious, and they're really affordable. So,
So,
uh,
like, you're about what price range are you thinking?
I'm thinking mid 15, 18, $20.
Yeah.
You can get a great Riesling.
And then for the people who enjoy cooking, because here we are getting ready to, have a lot of hosting for the holidays. What kind of foods would you say the people could maybe use a Riesling in?
You could work with Rieslings on turkey, very much so. Pork roast. Uh, I think when you get back from your trip, we should do a Thanksgiving. The next should be on Thanksgiving wines. Uh,
Yes, that's a definite. So when we come back, we'll end up doing our show. I think that'll be the 20th. So
yep.
on the 20th, which will get a lot of people ready for Thanksgiving. Yeah, let's hold on to that one because one, it is what they want to cook with, and two, what's the best wines? Just I think that's a good question. The wines that you bring to a person who's hosting for the holidays, so that you're not having them go, I don't want this. I'm not going to drink this.
Sure. No, that will be fun. There's a lot of wines that we can talk about and some of them are different than your what you would think a Cabernet or something like that.
Yeah.
Uh, but you get your foods that have all kinds of different herbs in it, and it throws you off, and you drink things that you wouldn't. I mean, you drink Riesling with it, you drink Traminette with it, but no, that'd be fun.
And then so Chuck always provides me with some really great background on all of the wines that we're talking about. So Riesling was founded in the mid 1400s. That's crazy.
Yeah, there's so much of it, and then during World War II, so much of it was destroyed, and then they built the vineyards back quickly, and they went for quantity more than quality, and that's where all the blue bottles started coming from. Actually, I remember one of the first wines I ever drank was Blue Nun.
Oh,
Uh,
yes.
and it was sweet, and it was tasty, and but that it was saturated also. And then as time goes on, they started working on quality again and making incredible wines.
From a Riesling standpoint, does it matter about when we're opening it? Because I know a lot of wines you have to have from an aging process, but how are they with aging?
Oh, they age fantastically. There's 40, 50-year-old Rieslings out there, but there are also the wines that are bottled in 22 and 23 are great. They're made to drink, but they're also made to age. It's one grape that you can buy and do whatever you want with it, because you can drink it young, and you can set it down and let it age. And as they get older, they develop more stone fruit, and have, which I like. So I, I'm I'm not too high on lemony for some reason. I love the saturated stone fruit in wines and white wines.
What about Rieslings with a dessert?
The Auslay style, which is a sweet style, is you want to keep it pretty simple. You don't want to go into any rich desserts, but pies, tarts, things like that work well. Where the dessert doesn't overtake the wine, uh, but that's usually something to pair with. Poached pears, things like that.
Okay, perfect. Again, if you have not had a Riesling in a while, might want to try it out. That's our featured grape today. So if someone's coming in to Defiance Ridge Vineyards, do you have a Riesling there or something that would be similar for them to try out?
We do have a Riesling. We have an off-dry Riesling from Washington State. It's very delicious. It's got a little sugar in it, but not a whole lot. It's got great acid. It's a good food wine. We sell a lot of it. I mean Riesling, Pinot Gris. There every year it seems like that's our number one and two selling wine, ahead of Chardonnay.
I had a
Uh,
Chardonnay.
yeah. So that's the way it's always been. It seems like we sell a
Interesting.
lot of Chardonnay too, but usually anybody that comes out and wants something light, or they think something sweet, they if they don't know the characteristics and taste of Vignon, they always buy a Riesling usually.
And I love this is one thing that we always want to stress because people think about going to a winery and they've got their seasons that they choose. And then they forget that wineries are open as it gets colder, which I think is actually one of the most fun times because you've got the roaring fireplace and you sit there with some friends inside. You've got this beautiful facility. Again, if you want to check it out, defianceridgevineyards.com. Do your hours change a little bit as we get into
Uh,
fall, winter?
Once we get to the first of the year, we'll change back to daylight saving times to closing at 3 on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesdays, and then we're open at 5 and for dinner again on Thursday night, and then the full weekends.
Okay.
But right now we're opened. Nothing has changed on our end, other than as it gets darker an hour earlier now, which
Well,
is what.
and you've got some great events coming up. Let's talk about the concerts as well as the farmhouse dinner. So, first, as you'll see on the screen here, you've got the fall concert series, the Platinum Rock Legends. How are things selling with that?
Well, tickets are sold for the time of year sold pretty well. I think we've sold a little over 400 tickets. It will be outside. It will be a little cool evening, but this band is so large. They have so many pieces there's no way you're going to stick them inside. It wouldn't work. So, uh, uh, yeah, I'm excited that we've been able to sell that many tickets to this event. But they're popular and
Okay. And obviously, if people are looking for something to do, it's still available for you to go to that on Friday. Then you've got Anita Rosamond and friends
we
coming
just
up
sold one
Saturday.
online right now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. See, there you go. Rogers and Neat House also coming up on Sunday.
Yeah.
So if you want to look at the calendar of events of what they have coming up for the rest of the month and in through December as well. And then these farmhouse dinners that I'm always talking about. You have a farmhouse dinner that's going to take place next week, Wednesday. We mentioned this a couple of weeks ago. Did you say Trione Vineyards?
Our own vineyards are in Sonoma. They make fantastic wines. This is a winery that and dinner that is going to go all over the place. I mean, you're starting with whites. You got an incredible Chardonnay and Sauvignon Blanc, and they make one of the better Sauvignon Blancs that I've had. It's actually from the Russian River Valley, which is a little strange because Sauvignon Blanc usually is a really hot weather grape. But then they also have a wonderful Pinot Noir, and we're actually doing a dual tasting of a Bordeaux blend and their Cabernet for the final dish.
I'm looking at the menu. So, for those of you that have been thinking about going to a farmhouse dinner and you haven't had a chance to go to one yet, they have golden beet arugula and mandarin salad. That's going to be with the Chardonnay. The second is a shrimp mango tartina. That sounds like my jam right there, Chuck. That's with the Sauvignon
I'm
Blanc.
looking forward for the tasting next week.
Ah, that sounds incredible. And then salmon cakes.
Nice job on that one.
Yeah, that one sounds phenomenal. Salmon cakes for the third course. The fourth course, which will be with the red blend and the cab, is a bacon braised beef brisket. Your chef does such great things. Oh, okay, and then the fifth course with the Zinfandel is a dark chocolate almond rocks. Tell me about that one. What is that?
Well, dark chocolates you can drink with mini wines. So their Zinfandel's kind of jammy, so it should work well with this. It should be a fun pairing, and dark and chocolates go great with darker red wines.
For people who have never had a Zinfandel before, because I had to be turned on to it. Again, people hear that we've said this before. People hear the word Zinfandel and think of a white Zinfandel. This is completely different.
Have you not heard that before? So our Zinfandel at Defiance Ridge is incredible. It's people that are into big reds and like Zinfandel. It's one of the better Zinfandels that I've tasted. It's really good.
Yeah, I've become a fan of Zinfandels a lot over the last couple of years. It never was a go-to, but I tasted one. Again, it's all about somebody just introducing you. That's
Well,
the thing I like. Huh?
they're rich,
Yes.
rich,
Yes.
and but they're also high in alcohol too. So, well, you know that. That's
That's what I
it's
love.
one of the wines is nearly always nearly 16%.
And so what's a Zinfandel?
That's Zinfandel is usually around 16%. Where
16? Okay.
your cabs are usually a high cab is 15,
15.
and more normally they're in the mid 14s. Zinfandel is always close to 16 and up.
We haven't done a Zinfandel, have we?
We have not, but we can
Yeah,
sure.
we'll have to do that.
Zinfandel could be a Thanksgiving wine for sure
Yeah.
because it goes great with some spicy stuff.
Okay.
Uh, so there's one little caveat on the wine. So when you make wine, the government taxes you
Mhm.
on your alcohol percentages. So anything below 15% is taxed one way, and anything above that is taxed higher. So it's kind of incredible when you look on back of wine labels on red wines. Most of them say 14.9.
Yeah, well, that's what I was gonna say. When you were running through, and I was thinking, I've turned a bottle around and seen Cabernets and blends and whatever, and it usually says 14.9. Yes.
That's just a little interesting fact.
Interesting. Yeah, see, he's always educating us. All right, well, before we wrap up, let's talk about December because people love your trivia nights. Those are going to start back up on December 6th.
Yep. Start December 6th, and they roll out for 3 months. So we've got a lot of things going on there. Uh, we're actually starting to put together our plans for our new building too, and so all these events will eventually move up to the new barn building in the next year and a half. So we'll have more room, more space. We'll probably get to where we're doing some yoga events. We'll do maybe some brunches and things on Saturday mornings, and just looking for ways to build the revenue in that building, along with more weddings and farmhouse dinners will be there. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
So what's the projected date of that opening?
I would say it will probably be about a year and a half.
Year and a half?
Yeah,
Fantastic.
we've got a lot of work. We have to put new septic in. We got to bring up water from the highway. Larger pipes go to 6 inch, because that the house, when it was built, it was just a house, and so
Yeah.
it's always interesting with the water pressure. So this will help us immensely with all the whole business.
Well, this will be fun to watch that all unfold. Again, Defiance Ridge Vineyards, if you haven't been, or if you haven't been in a while, I encourage you to go by. Again, grab some great wine, some good food, listen to some good music. By the way, Bushwhacks in the Hollywoods, I know, is very, very popular. That's what, 50% full? You've got them coming up.
Both weeks are they're back to back, and they're both about half full right now. So
They're so much fun.
yes, they
Really
are.
good time. And do you have plans for New Year's Eve?
We won't have plans there. We have plans, but we kind of like to stay out in the area
Yeah.
this way. It's kind of nice.
Do you do brunches?
We used to, but it was very hard to turn over the brunch to the regular menu with the amount of people that come out.
Yeah.
It turned ticket times into longer than you would want, so we decided not to do that a few years ago. That will come back though. I think it's a great opportunity once this new building is
Yeah, I
built.
was going to say so much with that. Absolutely. Fantastic. Well, again, Riesling is the grape that maybe you want to reintroduce yourself to, or maybe for the first time ever, introduce yourself. They've got so many
This great
award winnings.
great food
Huh?
great food wine. Try it.
Yes, great food wine for sure, whether you're serving or maybe you're wanting to use it in your food. When we come back from Italy, I'll be giving a rundown to Chuck about all the wonderful things that we were able to experience. Cannot wait, my friend. I'll be talking a lot about Barolos to you. I can
Oh, I
guarantee.
love Barolos. They're fantastic. I have a few here, so they are great wines.
Yes,
You have a good trip, and I hope you're feeling better and
I know.
get over there, and you and Jim enjoy yourself.
I hear that red wine's the best medicine for this.
And you'll have plenty of opportunity, I promise you. And you'll have some great table wines.
Yes, yes,
You'll
yes.
love them. Now, you'll have wines that you've never thought possible.
We are going. We're going to Paulo Scavino. Is that how you pronounce it? Do you know
I
that winery?
I do not.
Yeah, Paulo Scavino and then Soretto. I know those two for sure.
So are you going? Is that northern Italy or
Yes. Yes.
okay?
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah, of course.
Yep. It's yeah, we're looking forward to it for sure. So I'll be telling you all about that when we come back on for our Wet Your Whistle. We'll be back together in person on the 20th. Well,
Do we?
cheers to you, my friend.
Okay, cheers to you. You guys have fun.
Thank you so much. We'll see
Okay.
you soon.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.